Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into a topic you guys wanted to hear more about. What makes older men attractive to younger women? You sent over this article
Yeah.
called Older Men Win Young Women's Attention with This. And
Wow, what a title.
I know, right? It's like super clickbaity.
It is.
But we read it, and actually there's some really insightful stuff in there.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
Yeah, so we're going to unpack some of that today, like
Mhm.
how maturity is about way more than just like being responsible, and also how confidence, it's not about like, trying to show off.
Right.
It's about something way more subtle.
It is.
Yeah. So are you ready to dive in?
Let's go.
Okay, cool. So one of the things that really struck me
Yeah.
was how this article kind of like debunks the whole, stereotype of the like sugar daddy thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not,
Which is so common.
I know, right? It's not about like material wealth.
Right.
It's more about what comes with age and experience.
Right. And I think that's what's so interesting about it.
Yeah. So it focuses a lot on how a man's maturity
Uh-huh.
can actually be like a really big attraction.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like it's about being stable,
Mhm.
dependable, having like emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Basically, like you've lived a little bit.
You've learned some things along the way.
Yeah, you've learned something.
You're not fresh out of the box.
Right. Exactly.
You've been through some stuff.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? Like how do these qualities play into like what people are looking for in a partner?
I think they speak to this like deeper need for security and reliability in a relationship,
Oh, that's interesting.
which I think resonates especially strongly with somebody at a different stage in life.
Okay, interesting.
Like think about it, like a partner who can handle disagreements with grace
Oh yeah.
or offer a grounded perspective during tough times.
That's huge.
Like that's incredibly valuable.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's like having someone who can like help you navigate life a little bit,
Yeah, absolutely.
instead of just like being along for the ride.
Right.
Yeah. It makes me think of a friend of mine
Yeah.
who was dating this guy and he was all about spontaneity,
Mm-hmm.
which was fun at first.
Yeah.
But then she realized like she wanted someone who was also thinking about like the bigger picture.
Right. Someone a little more future oriented.
Exactly. Someone with like direction.
Yeah.
And she ended up finding that with someone who was a little bit older,
Oh, wow.
and they were super happy.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see that play out.
Yeah, it really highlights the appeal of someone who has that clear sense of self
Yeah.
and a history of making thoughtful decisions,
Right.
not just impulsive ones.
Okay, so we've talked about maturity.
Yeah,
Now let's talk about confidence.
right.
This article also emphasizes like the power of confidence.
Yeah,
But not in like the, stereotypical like alpha male kind of way.
right. Not the chest thumping kind of.
Exactly, like swaggering around.
Oh, no, it's not about that.
So how does the article define confidence?
Well, it talks about it as like knowing your worth, being comfortable in your own skin, not needing external validation.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and that kind of like genuine confidence comes across in really subtle ways,
Oh, interesting. Like what?
like how you carry yourself.
Oh, okay.
The way you make eye contact,
Mm-hmm.
a genuine smile can go a long way.
So it's like you're saying, I'm good with who I am.
Right.
I don't need to like shout it from the rooftop.
Exactly. And that quiet confidence can be so magnetic.
Yeah, I can see that.
It really is.
So the article even gives like some practical tips.
That's it.
Yeah, for cultivating confidence. Like, what do they say?
I'm curious.
Okay, so they suggest focusing on your strengths
Okay.
and finding something you're passionate about.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like when you tap into those things,
Yeah.
it like naturally boosts your confidence.
It makes sense.
Right. So think about something that you're really passionate about.
Okay.
How does it make you feel?
Yeah.
Like I bet you light up your energy shifts.
Yeah.
And that kind of enthusiasm is magnetic. You know what I mean?
People are drawn to it.
Yeah. So it's not about like faking it.
No.
It's about like finding what genuinely lights you up.
Yeah, it's about that spark
Yes.
that comes from truly loving something.
Yes.
And letting that enthusiasm shine through.
Okay, so we've talked about maturity.
Yes.
I've talked about confidence.
Uh-huh.
Now, I know you might be picturing like a silver fox in a tailored suit right now,
Oh, yeah, like the classic image.
but the article's take on presentation is actually really down to earth.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing.
Interesting.
It's not about like designer labels or trying to look younger.
Okay.
It's about putting in effort
Got it.
and attention to detail.
Wait, so what kind of things are we talking about?
Like you don't have to wear a Rolex,
Right.
but making sure your shoes are polished
Yeah.
and your clothes fit well
Okay.
goes a long way.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's about the little things.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, what does that say about someone when they pay attention to those details?
Well, it shows that they care about how they present themselves to the world.
Mhm.
It's a sign of respect.
Respect for themselves.
To themselves, but also for the people they're interacting with.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, like it's saying, I respect myself enough to put in the effort,
Yeah.
and I respect you enough to show up as my best self.
That's really powerful.
It is.
It's a really subtle cue.
It is.
It can make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we've talked about maturity, confidence, presentation.
We're hitting all the points.
I know, right? But the article really drives home this point about communication.
Oh, yeah, that's so important.
Like, good communication can really set someone apart.
Especially an older man.
Yeah, especially someone who's had more time to hone those skills.
Right, exactly.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's not just about being like a smooth talker, you know?
Right.
It's about actively listening, being present in the conversation, and responding thoughtfully.
Yeah, like really engaging.
Yeah, and this goes back to that emotional maturity we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like being able to not just hear someone's words,
Right.
but truly understand their feeling.
That's a good point. And honestly, that takes time
It does.
and practice.
Absolutely.
We all know people who are great talkers,
Oh, yeah.
but terrible listeners.
For sure. And that can be so frustrating.
Yes, especially in a relationship.
Absolutely.
The article doesn't really go into specific communication techniques,
Okay.
but even something as simple as like reflecting back what you've heard,
Yeah.
you know, like sounds like you're feeling.
Exactly.
That can make someone feel seen and understood.
Yes. Validation and empathy are so powerful
Right.
in any relationship.
Okay, so we've got this picture emerging like a mature,
Yeah.
confident man,
Yeah.
dresses well,
Mm-hmm.
can hold a conversation.
He's got it all.
But the article throws in a little curveball here.
Oh, really?
It emphasizes the importance of being fun
Okay.
and intentional.
All right. So how do those two things go together?
Well, it's about finding that balance
Cool.
between being like the dependable rock,
Yeah.
but also keeping things exciting,
Yeah.
spontaneous.
So, like, what are some examples?
Well, the article suggests like playing dates that go beyond the ordinary,
okay.
like creating memorable experiences.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's like you're saying, I'm reliable,
Right.
but I'm also going to surprise you.
Yeah.
Let's try new things together. Let's keep growing.
I love that.
Yeah, it ties back to that idea of adventure and growth,
Mm.
keeping that spark alive.
It speaks to like a well-rounded personality
Yeah,
that values both stability and exploration.
right. And speaking of keeping things interesting,
Yeah.
the article also encourages a bit of mystery.
Oh, interesting.
I found that kind of intriguing.
Yeah.
Like, it suggests not laying all your cards on the table at once,
Oh, okay.
keeping a bit of yourself in reserve.
So like a little air of mystery.
Yeah, like a little bit of intrigue.
I can see that.
What do you think about that?
I think it's about creating that sense of intrigue,
Yeah.
leaving the other person wanting to learn more about you.
It makes you wonder, like, what else is there?
Exactly.
Now, I know this might sound a little counterintuitive,
Yeah,
especially when we're talking about building trust.
right.
But the article also encourages being upfront about your intentions,
Okay.
especially when it comes to long-term goals.
Like where you see things going.
Exactly, like what are you looking for?
Yeah, that's important to be clear about.
And this is especially important in age gap relationships.
Why is that?
Well, because expectations might differ.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, like, you know,
People are at different stages in life.
right. Like, are you looking for a casual connection,
Hmm.
a committed relationship,
Yeah.
something in between?
It's good to have those conversations early on.
Yeah, so you're on the same page.
Right. Prevent misunderstandings down the road.
And of course, respecting boundaries is super important.
Absolutely.
Open and honest communication from the start.
It's key.
It's really the foundation.
Yeah, it shows you value the other person's thoughts and feelings.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But one thing that stood out to me was the article's emphasis on effort.
Oh, interesting. Like, what do you mean?
It's not about grand gestures
Okay.
or showering someone with gifts.
Right.
It's about those small, consistent actions that demonstrate you care.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's what really makes a difference in the long run.
So, like, what kind of things are we talking
So
about?
it's like remembering details,
Okay.
sending a thoughtful message,
Yeah.
planning a date, that shows you've really been listening.
Oh, like that.
You know, those are the things that show you're invested.
Right, you're present.
You're paying attention.
The article gave some examples like remembering a favorite author
Well, that's a good one.
or planning a hike to a spot with an amazing view.
Yeah, it's about personalization
Yeah.
and going that extra mile to make someone feel special.
So it's not about like the big flashy things.
No.
It's about those little things that show you're paying attention.
It's those little things that say, I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
And I care enough to put in the effort.
And that's attractive no matter what your age is.
It really is.
Okay, so to sum up, it's not just about age.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the qualities that tend to come with experience.
Right.
Like maturity.
Yep.
Confidence, the ability to communicate effectively.
You got it.
And maybe, most importantly, it's about being intentional,
Yes.
putting in the effort to nurture the connection.
Absolutely.
So the article we explored focuses on what attracts younger women to older men.
Right.
But it raises a broader question.
What's that?
What do you think are some of the qualities that
Yeah.
make you attractive,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of age?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, something to think about.
It is. Yeah, it really makes you think outside of those like typical assumptions, you know?
Right? It's easy to get caught up in the surface level stuff.
It is.
But this deep dive really highlights how much deeper genuine connection goes.
Totally. And while this article focused on a specific dynamic,
Yeah.
I think a lot of these principles apply to attraction in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, think about it, who isn't drawn to someone who's confident,
True.
kind, and makes them feel good about themselves?
That's a good point.
You know?
It all comes back to being the best version of yourself,
Right.
letting your authentic self shine through.
I think that's what really creates a lasting impression.
Absolutely. And builds real connection.
Well said. It's been great unpacking all of this with you.
Me too. It's been a fascinating conversation.
It has.
And to our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked some new insights
Yeah.
and given you some things to ponder.
Lots to think about.
Remember, attraction is a journey, not a destination.
It's an ongoing process.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.